Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my April reading wrap-up. I did not read a whole lot in April. I actually read a lot in May, and I feel like that's going to be a long video to film, but we're going to worry about that when I actually have time to film it. I read 3 things for the month of April, and yeah, that's not a whole lot, but I'm kind of like okay with it because these 2 of the books that I read were your typical size fantasy books. First book that I read in April was Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. This is the first book in a series. I forget if it's a duology or a trilogy. I want to say it's a duology. And I picked this up because I had genuine interest in reading it at one point, and then I kept hearing about all these awful reviews, and I was like, you know what, I don't know if I should even read it, because if it's not good, then I don't think I'm going to like it. But I decided to pick it up anyways, and I did not like this book. The concept was really cool. In theory, I thought I was really going to like this. It's actually about a bunch of female space pirates that kind of go on this adventure. They get hired, well, rather blackmailed into doing like a rescue mission. Rescuing this person actually triggers a war that's happening between these really big governments. There's a lot of like backstory involved in this. I'm not going to get into it because I actually thought a lot of what was happening in the book was just so melodramatic. 13-year-old Rachel actually would have loved this. 28-year-old Rachel does not. I just don't think it was the right audience for this book. I actually think if they took away some of the sexual connotation, which wasn't a whole lot to be honest, if they took out a couple of these moments that happened, I feel like this would have been a great middle grade book. But I feel like because they added these scenes, it had to be a young adult book, and I just don't feel, I feel like the writing style doesn't fit the age group, if you know what I mean. The writing style was just juvenile in my opinion, and it's not to say that's bad, it's just not for me. But to get back to other things in this book, like I said, it was just really melodramatic to what was happening. There really wasn't a whole lot of world building. Alright, I'm being generous. There wasn't any world building. You kind of get like dropped into this world and you're told to like just go along with it, which is fine if it was like a graphic novel sort of thing, but it's not. It's a book. You get like bits of information as you go along, but only if it was necessary, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. To be honest, when the whole thing was said and done, I still had questions at the end of the book to like, alright, so what caused the first war to begin with? What was this guy's motive? A lot of it left me in the dark, and I wasn't okay with it. A lot of what happened was actually pretty predictable. At one moment, I actually was shocked when something was revealed. I still thought that this plot twist was weak. Like, I feel like if they had taken out the plot twist, it would have worked fine. I feel like it actually would have worked better. But I am listing all these things that I didn't like about the book. I did have affection for one character. It was Alfie the robot. And because of the affection that I had for this one character, I ended up rating this 1.5 stars out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I kind of wish Alfie had more like page time. I feel like I would have enjoyed this more had I got to see my favorite character more. Like I said, I just don't think I was the right target audience for this book. It just wasn't for me. I'm actually looking at my Goodreads thing, and I see that I actually rated it 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I probably was torn between 1.5 to 2. But that's basically my overall thoughts on Zenith. I know a lot of people like absolutely trashed it. I don't think it was that bad, but definitely not for me. The next thing that I read in April was The Actor's Life, a Survival Guide by Jenna Fischer. I loved this. I loved this book. Jenna Fischer she writes how to like break into acting in Los Angeles. She tells you how she went about it, different ways that you could go about it. I actually found myself writing notes on this thing. The other actors' guidebooks that I've read, they were so out of date that I'm like, okay, so I know this already, and you know what, this actually wouldn't work in today's society because how technology works now. But I actually found myself writing notes for this book. I am going to buy this book eventually. That's how much I loved it. Jenna Fischer even actually gave stories. When she said not to do something, it's like she gave a story to back that up. Like she actually crashed an audition once, and the casting director was so mad that she never called Jenna Fischer in for a role, like ever afterwards. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been tempted to crash auditions if I wasn't called for it and I knew it was happening. I was tempted to crash the audition, but I never did because I didn't want to like burn bridges before I made them. And listening to the story, I'm really glad I never did that. But I rated this 5 stars on Goodreads. I can't actually say enough good things about this book. I actually listened to it as an audiobook, but I am going to buy the physical copies, like the physical book, so I can take it with me when I move out to LA. And the last book I read for this month is Children of Blood and Bone, which is a first book in a series. I don't know how many books it's going to be in this series, but the series is going to be called Legacy of Orisha, and it's by Tomi Adeyemi. I loved this. This was actually a really fun read. I borrowed it from my library, and I inhaled it. This book is actually set in a world by those who do magic is seen as lower than second-class citizens. They're called the Magi, and they're so looked down that people have called them maggots. It's really heartbreaking to see how this group of people was treated. And a scroll is found, and our main character actually takes the scroll to this holy place to bring back magic. And she brings her brother, and she brings the princess, actually originally stole the scroll, to this magical place to try to bring magic back to this world. And of course I'm spacing on all of their names, so I'm sorry about that. I thought the world building was phenomenal. It actually like flowed in the very beginning, so you can actually really get a sense of the world around you when you first got into it. The story itself was really adventurous and it was really fast paced. Not for 1 second did I feel a lull in this story. And the ending itself, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it, but oh my god, I actually need to read book 2. I can't wait to read book 2. There was one downside for me in this story. It was the love story between, I did write down the characters. Go past Rachel. Zelly's our main character, and she has like this love relationship with Inan, who's actually the princess's brother, and he originally hunts them down. And this like love story happens between them, kind of like a hate to love sort of thing, and I felt like it was too insta-lovey. I would have preferred a slow burn. Like a more like slow build up. Like if this was going to happen, like happen in book 2 or maybe book 3, it just felt like it happened too fast. And I don't like how Inan was wishy-washy. He kept flipping. And I understand that this guy was really conflicted about his feelings. I can be like that. But I just wish he was more assertive. And because he wasn't so assertive, he did frustrate me a few times. And because of these two things, I did end up rating this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, but man, I can't wait for book 2. I really cannot wait for it. So that is everything that I read in April. Have you read these 3 items? Please feel free to talk about it down in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye guys!